Today, I'm here with Britt. Thank you so much for being with me on the 10-minute take. I'm so happy to be meeting with you again. We had the pleasure of working together recently, and it was just such a fun time. You were such a great energy. How are you doing today?
I'm good. You too. I mean, I can say all of that right back to you because you were
Thank
such a
you.
joy to have on set, and we really
Thank
put y'all
you.
through it.
Yeah, when we worked together, guys, it was freezing cold, and Britt was great, and she had the biggest jacket, and we were all in her jacket, and it was so much fun. So, like, what pulled you first into the film and TV industry?
So I grew up mostly in Ohio, and my grandma raised me when I was younger, and she was always big into movies and TV, and just we watched everything from like Carol Burnett. Like the most pivotal movies for me in my childhood were like movies I had no business watching. It was like I loved Goodfellas, I loved First Wives Club. Like I was definitely just
Yeah,
watching what she wanted to watch. But so
yeah.
I always kind of like had that in my life. And then as I got older, because I also grew up doing theater, but realized I didn't want to act, but still wanted to be in the arts in some way. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of what pulled me originally.
Yeah. I feel like it's crazy how many different paths the film and TV industry can take you. Like I'm doing acting and now I'm like starting to write and I'm like wanting to produce and all this stuff, and
Hmm.
it's crazy how wide everything is, but they all come together. Like,
100%. It's
yeah.
also, I think, for me, not obviously living in an industry city, growing up, I didn't really have any exposure to what the world was actually like. And then once I got
Mhm.
into it, once I started working in the industry, I started as a production assistant, as many people do. And I very quick, and a lot of PAs, the path is to become an AD, a first AD, second AD, second.
Yeah.
And I realized very quickly that I did not want to do that.
Yeah.
I was like, I could be good at it and I could do it, but I realized it wasn't my path. And so once I got on set to kind of clarify what I actually wanted to do because I saw what
Mhm.
everybody was responsible for, how things came together, and how, just what everybody actually did to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And what was your like pros and cons? Like what drew you, what pulled you away?
From like ADing,
Yeah.
I mean, in the harshest of terms, it's a really thankless job, honestly.
Yeah.
They're responsible for everything, for keeping like the time management, which of course affects your budget. I mean, in big productions, minutes are tens of thousands of dollars. And so
Yeah.
you have that and if everything goes right, you had nothing to do with it. And if anything goes wrong, it was your fault. And
Yeah.
it's a really hard position to be in. It's a really hard position to find someone that really like loves doing it and thrives in it. And when you do, it just changes the whole experience because it becomes a much more like symbiotic experience. And you can, because they control the energy. That's the other thing, especially being on set. The majority of crew members have a walkie in their ear and you're just getting constant information. And so if you have a first AD who knows how to manage the energy and keep people in check and but motivated, it really makes a huge difference. And I can appreciate that and value that, but I just realized that I wanted to be more in the creative side or on the creative side than in the actual um, day-to-day management of the set.
Yeah. So with that, what is a what's your typical day to day look like during production?
So it depends. So I've had a few different roles. I've done AD work. Wow, I first did you were on my first project that I first AD'd.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, but it's one of those things too. I think once you've been on set, like I've worked in the industry for a decade now, and
Hmm.
so you kind of, especially if you're doing indie stuff, you can wear many hats.
Yeah.
And then I've worked as a personal assistant to an actress, producer, director, which has been invaluable. And I've learned
Yeah.
so much from her. And so right now my day-to-days are helping her with all of her like tasks production wise and life wise, and then also our next project, I'm transitioning to being an associate producer. So
Nice.
my right now, like when we're in production, I'm usually on set and running around and doing a million things and kind of the liaison between my boss and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then when we're not in production, we have things in development. So it's lots of, meetings and conversations and things like that. But every day is different.
Yeah. What's like a really good piece of advice or something that you've taken from being her personal assistant?
Mm, um, gosh, there's so many things. I think one of the things I really value about her, and I think that not a lot of above the line and nor a lot of actors really make it a point for it to be a thing that's important to them, but she really, really, really takes the crew into account when like making decisions because we work crazy hours and it's not often that there are advocates for everybody else besides the actors. And
Yeah.
it's nice to have someone who reminds everybody, especially like, the studio side and these other people who aren't working 16, 17, 18-hour days. Um, just like how important the crew actually is and that to make what we're making, it takes everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it's just like to really show an appreciation for the people you work with and respect each other and just realizing that it takes all of us to do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I always like when I remember when I was first getting into acting in the industry and stuff when I was 14, 15, 16, I was like, there's so many jobs and it's like you would never know anybody's name, but it's
Hmm.
like that you would not be seeing what you see on screen if it was not for them, and they have such a big part, sometimes even a bigger part than what you see, like than the actors and stuff, because how are you supposed to get how like everything is done by the crew, everything is done, like as an actor you just show up and your only role is to like make sure that you get the lines said and that your character is on point and that you produced a good performance. Everybody else around you is running basically your entire world.
Hmm.
And it's so true with what you say, how it's like a thankless job. A lot of parts of the industry is a thankless job. And like that's upsetting to me. It's like it really is.
Yeah, but that's why I think
Yeah.
there's such an impact when you do work with people who appreciate that. And we'll have
Yeah.
actors and producers, and they'll do little things like we'll do, they'll get food trucks and or coffee carts or little things. And it's like it might not seem like a lot, but just like
Hmm.
those little things, like or people saying thank you, like little stuff like that, it goes so far. And I
Yeah.
think, we a lot is asked of us. And like you're saying, it takes all of us to do it. And, each take, everybody has to do their job exactly right for it to be a good take. And so it's like,
Yeah.
it's not just the actors, it's the camera operators, it's the focus pullers, it's the PAs doing the lockups. It's, you know what I mean? It's everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's a really big thing.
Yeah. Being on a set, it's like its own world. Literally its
I
own world.
I describe it as managing chaos.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So like what's the most challenging part of your job that people don't see?
Um, I mean, I think being in the industry in general is really hard with like time management or work-life
Hmm.
balance in a lot of ways. I think that's honestly one of the biggest things, and we aren't really like we're not able to take care of ourselves, I think, in the ways that we really should be.
Hmm.
But there are people changing that. I think we're really at an inflection point in the industry with the studio system in general, but also in how things are getting made and the hours that we're asking. I know, for instance, Elizabeth Banks. She was talking recently,
Hmm.
one of her projects. She's like, we were home for dinner most nights. And so it's,
That's like
it,
crazy.
and it's like, it can happen. I think Pam Adlon did that with her last show too. And it's like, it can happen.
Wow.
You can do it. And that's the reality. And of course, it's these women who are majority women, powered sets
Yeah.
that are making this happen. But I'm like, yeah, I was like, we've gone too long with the excuse of, well, this is how we've always done it, so we're going to keep doing
Hmm.
it. And we're like, well, it hasn't worked and it's not working, so we're actually not going to do that. We're going to do this. And
Yeah.
isn't it crazy? We're still making our air dates and things are still working. It's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know that because I feel like whenever I'm on a set, especially if I'm there for days, it's like it's
Hmm.
literally go to set, come home, sleep, go to set, come home, sleep,
Yeah.
like 24/7. And I feel like even as an actor, you leave before the crew leaves, really.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's crazy. But like you were saying with women in production, like what's advice that you would give to women that are trying to break into production? Because I am myself.
I mean, I think you have to be your own advocate. I think don't take shit from people. I think it's oddly enough, I've felt I've bumped up against people, um, and it's usually more women
Hmm.
than men, which is really interesting. Who kind of have this. I went through it, so you should have to go through it, and it's just was just so backwards to me because I'm just like, well, why don't we fix the problem so nobody has to go through it?
Yeah.
So I think just like being your own advocate and also maintaining like boundaries, I think is a big thing. And also just this is an industry of relationships, and to this day I've worked on so many different sets and I've met so many incredible people, and one of the things I'm really looking forward to as a producer is getting to staff a crew because I know
Hmm.
exactly who I'm going to hire, because I know my pace level, I know the caliber of work that they do, I know how they're going to perform. So I think it's building good relationships and just like continuing to make stuff, just make stuff,
Yeah.
the whole phrase of make it and then make it good. You just make
Yeah.
something, do stuff with your friends, do a 24-hour thing, shoot something, try it. Stuff's, you're gonna shoot something and you're like, I hate everything about it, but you did it and you've
Yeah.
learned. And not only do you learn what you want to do, you also learn what you don't want to do. And so that clarifying is really important too.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people who are trying to make relationships in this industry?
I think keep watching stuff, keep like going to festivals and watching things online, and just especially if you like someone's work, or let's say you go to a film festival or you some shorts and you watch something and you're like, oh, I loved the writing in that, or I loved the cinematography in that, or I love that. Write down those names, look those people up, tell them you like their work, start building a kind of Rolodex for yourself of just like people whose work you admire, and then reach out to them. I mean, also, who at the end of the day, if they don't respond, they don't respond. And if they do,
Hmm.
great. You never know where that's going to lead. I think a lot of times people can get scared because, scared of rejection or, different things like that, which is completely understandable. But the way I look at it is at the end of the day, if they never respond, they never see it, nothing ever happens, you're in the same boat you were before you sent it. And
Yeah.
so, you never know who you could connect with, or, you never know where it could lead. And so I think take chances, have conversations with people, um, experiment with things. I think to tell people that you appreciate their work, that you like their work, because also I'm all about karma. Everything comes back around. And I really believe that we find our people, especially artistically. We really find our people. And when you do, you get to make incredible things. And so I think just tell people when you appreciate them or what you like and go from there.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That's
Mm.
amazing, amazing, amazing advice. Thank you. Now to
Yeah.
wrap things up, who's the next person that you know who has to be on the podcast next?
I mean, I'm a little biased, but I would say I would say my good friend Tara Aquino.
Yeah,
Um,
Tara.
that's my best friend. She was the director and writer of the short that we worked on together. But I mean, I could go on about her for hours. She has lived 100 lives. Like I can't even like just you'll talk to her and you'll understand. She's truly done
Yeah.
like lived a million lives. And she also has this like crazy her like memory and just her percept she just I don't know, her mind is absolutely incredible from a storytelling perspective and creative artistic perspective. She's also first generation, and so there's a lot of
I love
stories
that.
So yeah, she's immensely talented from the stuff she's done for Nike and the Kobe Mamba campaign to things that she's written for Rolling Stone. I mean, she had a list, she had a script on the Indigenous Blacklist 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's already here and just like going. So I would say
Yeah.
definitely talk to her.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Britt.
Thank you. This was so fun.
So fun.